Hey, I'm Jason Capital. I went from broke to millionaire in only 9 months when I was 24. I've sold over $40 million before the age of 30, and I was named the top 100 entrepreneur by the White House, and I did all of it from my laptop, and I am one of the passionate few. So I've been interviewed by a ton of different podcasts and publications and magazines and stuff. And to be honest, I shared stuff on this interview I've never shared with anyone else. And you can shine the entire spotlight on Omar, his ability as an interview, the questions he asked. He got stuff out of me that no one else has ever gotten out of. And truthfully, it's kind of therapeutic, dude. So I really appreciate how good he is at what he does. The show was, well, if I say it, it sounds like I'm tooting my own horn. Watch the show, check it out. You're gonna love this.
Welcome to this episode of the Passionate Few podcast today. It's your host, Omar here, and today we get to sit down with one of the leading millennial expert copywriters in the world, Jason Capital. And as a high-income expert, best-selling author, and top 100 entrepreneurs recognized by the White House, Jason shares with us his incredible story of going from playing basketball in Detroit and being the only white kid on the team, and how he used that chip on his shoulder to actually excel at the craft and learned then that having a chip on your shoulder can actually serve you. So in this interview, we get into the whole story of how Jason went from basketball to digital marketing, and how by the age of 24, he became a millionaire, and by the age of 29, had done over $40 million in sales online. So in this interview, we get into how Jason developed his passion for copywriting, which is the ability to write words that sell, and how he's helped thousands of students in the process replace their own rat race income with laptop income to create a six-figure and beyond lifestyle of freedom. And also, I want to let you guys know, if you're interested in learning more about Jason's program, we've set up a very special masterclass for you in the description below, so you can check that out. So I want to encourage you guys to sit back, relax, and enjoy this powerful interview with Jason Capital. Enjoy. So thanks for being on the show today, Jason.
Dude, I'm so glad to be here. It's gonna be great.
Likewise, man. I know we've been trying to put it together for a long time, so
Yes,
it's
sir.
awesome to finally make it happen. So let's get into it. For people who might know your story, but there's people who might not know your story, take us back. Before you became this copywriter, doing, I think, upwards of $40 million in your 20s in online sales and helping students around the world. Talk to me a little bit about where you began, because you probably didn't have a promising future as a writer when you were a kid. So talk to me a little bit about your childhood and kind of what your upbringing was like.
Yeah, so I grew up in a small town outside of Detroit called West Bloomfield, Michigan, which is a suburb. Just to give people context, Eminem, everyone knows Eminem, Detroit. That was 8 Mile Road.
Right.
I was on 15 Mile Road. So I was 7 miles away from where he was. So it was total suburbia, where I grew up, middle class, everything. And, when I was young, I didn't know I was going to be successful. I didn't know what the hell I was going to be doing. The only thing I remember about from the earliest time that I can remember is that I had this sneaking suspicion that grown-ups were wrong. And I couldn't put words to it. I didn't know why. I just felt like even when I was like 6 or 7, that they were all lying in some way, or they were wrong, or there was something there, and there was this rebellious spirit to me, and that definitely carried through, man.
Were your parents strict as a kid, or?
My parents were very strict.
Gotcha.
Very much. I had a very protective mother. Like the overprotective mom. That was my mom. Don't hang out with these kids. Don't stay out past 6. You have to stay in the neighborhood at these times. Like very much like that. And I think I felt really smothered when I was younger. And when I turned 13, I started playing basketball a lot. And it was it was an escape for me because I was in the gym all day, which meant I wasn't at home, which was good. Because I didn't have to deal with all that stuff. I could I'll see you guys later. It's 1 p.m. I'm going to the gym. I'll come back at 10 p.m. and I'm going to spend the next 9 hours just shooting hoops and playing ball.
Right. So that became your outlet in a sense or whatever.
Completely became my outlet, became my positive addiction. So when I was 13, I was cut from the basketball team, right? So 8th grade, all my friends try out. None of us take basketball seriously. It's just, we play football, we play basketball, we play soccer, we play everything.
Just for fun.
Yeah, we all, and then it's like, oh, we'll play on the team, right? Because it's not that competitive. It's not that many kids trying out. And all my friends made the team except for me. I remember like running my, they put the coach puts the name of the people who make the team
right,
up.
yeah,
I'm running my hand down, seeing where am I, my name's not on it. And I didn't know why. I thought like, all my friends were like, this doesn't make sense. Why are you on the team? It was just really, it was like someone like taking a knife and cutting the connection between me and my friends. Wow. And I was completely alone and I was disconnected because they're playing on the team, they're spending every day and I'm by myself. And I didn't know it at the time, but I just was like, I'm gonna prove this fucking coach wrong. hopefully we can swear on here because I have a tendency to swear like a sailor.
Yeah, no,
I don't really give a fuck. Yeah. But I wanted to prove the fucking coach wrong. I wanted to prove all my friends wrong. The ones who were like, no, you shouldn't have made the team. You weren't good enough, right? Prove them wrong. I just had this driving me to prove everybody fucking wrong.
Chip on your shoulder, yeah.
Huge chip.
A lot of people we interview say that, and for like a lot of people listening, you want to speak to them because maybe they're in that situation. They don't know that they can use it to their advantage. Can you talk about like how powerful that chip on your shoulder was?
Yeah. So before I got the chip on my shoulder, I was just like any other kid. I was worried about fitting in and trying to sit at the cool kids' table at lunch and all the shit that doesn't matter at all. The minute I had a chip on my shoulder, I was driven. I was focused. I was like, I got a goal. I'm gonna fucking do this. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to do it. And you're filled with this sense of purpose all of a sudden. So if you have people who are doubting you, like, thank you, God. Be grateful for that because it gives you so much more drive. It gives you like dark energy that you can tap into that can allow you to overpower your competition. So like, I would literally spend all day in the gym, and people like in basketball, it's a big thing to shoot 500 shots a day. Like that was like the Kobe thing, right? Kobe goes and he makes 500 shots before the game starts. I would literally make 4,000 shots a day. I was in there all fucking day. And then when it would close at 9 p.m., I'd go home and I'd go in my basement. I move all the whatever tables or whatever down there, clear the space because it's too dark out, and I would practice dribbling down there for another couple hours. And I did this every day, 7 days a week. We once went on a family trip. We drove from Detroit to Toronto. So with me and my brother and my sister, all of us in the car. And we get about an hour from Detroit, and I go, we have to turn back. And my mom was like, why? And I was like, I left my basketball at home. I was like, I'm gonna spend 5 hours in this car. I'm so dedicated. Like, I need to be holding a ball. Because if I can't be dribbling on this trip, I need to at least like just keep that feel, that fingertip feel. Yeah. So I made them get off and find like a sporting goods store on this trip to buy me a basketball. Then we go back in the car and I'm like, all right, I'm good. Just as long as I'm holding it.
Wow. How old were you at that time?
15 probably.
So did you want to be a pro, like play in the NBA, or you didn't even care about that far? You just loved to do it?
No. Like, and this is what's funny. Looking back, I didn't even like the game that much.
Really?
I didn't even enjoy it that much.
Yeah.
It was my source of fuck you to everybody. It was my source of, you said I couldn't do this, and now I'm doing it.
It was your thing in a sense.
What are you going to say now? Yeah, I'm doing it. It's just when I was doing it, I didn't realize this. Now that time has passed, I look back on it and I'm like, I didn't even enjoy it that much. I just had to prove everybody wrong, and I was going to do whatever it took.
At that time, would you consider it your passion or not? It was just more of that vehicle.
It was definitely a passion. Yeah, okay. It was definitely a passion. It was, it was all I watched. It was all I did. I'd record like games on TNT when the Mavericks would play the Lakers, and then I'd rewatch it the next day and study every footwork movement that Steve Nash did or Dirk Nowitzki did or Kobe did, and
that probably translated later to what you would do in copywriting, right? In terms of the obsession, right? Studying the greats in that regard, right?
Yeah, totally. So like one of the famous copywriters of all time, Gary Halbert, he has this thing where he tells everybody you're starting to learn copy, you should write sales letters by hand. And these things are 10 or 20,000 words, and he wants you to write like dozens of them by hand because you're ingraining that person's copy into your subconscious as you write it by hand. So I've done a lot of that, but the way I like do game film now is you find out what controls are out there, what VSLs and webinars and sales material out there is crushing it, and then you rip it apart, you turn it over, you flip it upside down, you look at behind it, and you start going, why did he say this? Why was he? It's me studying the footwork and the patterns and the moves of like the best copywriters today.
Gotcha, man. That's awesome. Okay, so take us back then. So you're playing basketball, you're 15. Did you aim to play in college? Did you aim to be in the NBA, or you just kind of stuck with it? I mean, what was your plan at that time?
Yeah, so my goal, my idea of great success was going to be playing college basketball. That was my focus. So I keep playing. So 8th grade, I was cut. 9th grade, first year in high school, freshman year, I made the team. Right, so I actually made improvements, and that's progress. More competitive team, still made it. And then I made the JV team the next year, and then varsity. And what was interesting about it is I was one of only 2 white kids on these teams every year. So
that's right, Detroit. Yeah.
So I grew up.
You're like the Eminem of the basketball court.
I was like, there you go. Yeah. Without all the rhyming skills. Yeah. At our high school, there were a lot of kids. So I was in the suburbs, but it was called a school of choice, which meant that families from even lower class neighborhoods, from like Pontiac and Detroit, Michigan, they could send their kids to our schools. So a lot of these kids were black. Obviously, the stereotype that they're better at basketball, a lot of them really good at basketball, right? So they were the ones who were on the team. And I was one of only 2 white kids who actually were in the city and played on the team. So every year in high school, I was like, again, only 1 or 2 white kids. When I played AAU basketball in the summer, it was me surrounded by 100 people of a different color. So I spent my entire teenage years basically around very different people, around very different experiences. We would drive from Detroit to like Louisville for basketball tournaments. So I'd be in a car with them for like 15 hours. Right. And it was so different than anything my old friends would ever see or go through. And I'm so grateful for it because I made such good friends in there.
Right. And it stimulates your mind to think in new ways. And,
totally. You see how different families operate, different people from different classes operate. And, you know, it made me fucking tough because the entire 8 years I spent playing basketball, like obsessively, every single day I had a group of people looking at me like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? There's no fucking way you're gonna be able to do this. Like, you're a joke. These goals are, you shouldn't even be here kind of thing. So it was like I wake up and I'm dealing with that every day. And
is it from peers? I mean, where were you getting a lot of that pressure
peers
from?
and coaches, totally from everybody.
Really? Because you were the white kid kind of thing?
Because I was the white kid. I don't want to say like I was, it's like reverse racism or anything, because I don't want to make any fucking excuses at all. Right. But there was definitely a lot of that. I was called a lot of names for a long time and shit.
And you were alone. You had to just like stay the course.
And I would just, frankly, I would shut my mouth and I'd say, okay. And then I'd go practice some more. And then I'd come back a week later with some new skills that they'd never seen, fucking cross their ass over, put it in the basket, and then look at them and be like, what now?
Yeah.
Right? And that feeling was like,
addicting.
I love that. Yeah. And every one of them who doubted me were like weights for a muscle called belief. And that muscle is like, that's why I'm able to do what I'm able to do today. So if without them, my belief would be weak.
That's amazing, man. Okay, so then you go to college. Do you play in college?
Yeah. So I played, so first I was recruited to a Division III school called Kalamazoo College, which was outside of Detroit. And I went there for like 2 weeks, and literally 2 weeks. And after the second week, I called my mom and I was like, Mom, I can't stay here. I'm coming home. And it wasn't the basketball. The basketball would have been fine. I would have done well there. It was seeing what people in college were like. I didn't realize, like, I thought people in college were going to be like really serious about being successful and they were going to like be focused and ambitious. Right. And I get there and I'm like, everyone here is fucking lazy as fuck. Yeah. But don't forget, my entire high school years, I never spent time with like students or in class because I would skip class to go play basketball. So now I'm like actually surrounded by these people. I got 3 of them. I'm living them in a dorm room and I'm like, I don't want to be in this environment at all.
Yeah.
And my mom did not want it. She was like, you're going to stick it out. And I'm like, nope, I'm very strong-headed. I made him come pick me up. And I went to, so I moved back home, second school called University of Michigan, Dearborn. I played there for a year. And then I got recruited again to a Division II school in St. Petersburg, Florida, which was like the one. I wanted to go play somewhere warm.
Right.
So that was in St. Pete, Florida. I went down there for a season. And then I was 20 at that point. And I was totally burnt out on basketball, right? I felt like I made it. I'm playing college basketball. There's no one left to prove wrong.
Right,
And now if your whole drive was to prove people wrong, what do you do when they shut the fuck up and they're like, okay, we were wrong, right? And something very fortuitous happened there, fortunately. Elliot Holst, who I'm sure you're aware of, he had a gym 2 blocks away from that school in Florida that I went to.
So you're 20 at this time. So how old are you now, just so people have context? 29.
Actually, today is my birthday, and I'm 30 today.
No way. Happy birthday, bro.
Thanks, man.
Did not know that. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was exactly 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so at that age, what were you like aiming to do aside from college? Like, did you have a degree in mind, a major, a profession? Or like, were you driven to be, you said you noticed that people weren't like success hungry.
Yes.
Were you like, I want to be successful, I want to be a millionaire? I mean, like, what was the dialogue going on in your mind at that time? Or were you not thinking that deeply?
So I never cared about money. It was never a thing for me. A lot of people want money because they see get money, get power, or get money, get respect, get money, get control. And I understand that. But for me, it was be the best basketball player, get power, get respect, get control, get all those things. That was my mechanism to achieve that outcome. And so it was never about money. And I was a kinesiology major. So I studied exercise science.
Right.
And my whole idea was my great-grandfather, or my grandfather, excuse me, he was from Israel and my grandma's from Israel. And his family basically eight out of 9 family members of mine were killed in the Holocaust.
Wow.
And he was the only survivor, and he escaped twice from the Nazis. He's in 2 concentration camps. He escaped both of them.
Twice.
So that shit's like running through my DNA, which is cool,
Wow.
which I appreciate so much. Grateful for that. But because we had Israeli roots, I thought, so this is like some secret basketball shit, but I knew I was never going to play in the NBA. I was realistic about that.
Why, just the skills weren't there?
Yeah, I'm 6 feet tall. I couldn't dunk. Like,
Right, yeah.
You got to have some sick natural athleticism. I didn't. I shouldn't have been playing basketball. Like, I was much more built for like soccer than basketball.
Yeah. But did you want to be in the NBA and then like that dream got crushed, or you kind of always knew that it was
I was
not
realistic about it. I thought I was going to play European pro basketball. It's like, I won't play NBA. I'll play in Europe. And because I had Israeli heritage, it's like a loophole, and I'd have a much better shot of playing on an Israeli pro team because my grandparents. That was like the rule. So that's what I thought I was going to end up doing. When I stopped playing basketball, the idea in my mind that was, well, I like working out. Well, I'll open a gym. But that was my idea of settling, right? If this doesn't work, I'll settle, open a gym. I'll train college players or whatever for their 40-yard dash or basketball. But I didn't really want to do that. And then I met Elliot, right? And that's kind of what he was doing. He had a gym, right? And I go there. I'm looking for Elliot, and I hear weights banging. People are lifting weights and they're deadlifting. And I'm like, where's Elliot Holst? Like, it's his gym. I'm like, yo, where's Elliot? I don't know. I don't know. They're like, oh, he's upstairs. So I look upstairs, and there's this giant strongman, Elliot Holst, over a laptop like this, just punching away at the keyboard. And I meet him, and I'm like, you gonna lift? Like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, man, I'm writing my ebook. I'm gonna sell it online. And I was like, what is the internet marketing ebook? What is this? And he opened up this door for me, this opportunity of, I didn't know it was possible. I didn't know it existed, but he was like, you can do this. And immediately from stopping basketball in a couple months, I was like, I'm gonna do this internet marketing thing.
What was it about it that hooked you?
The fact that I would be able to do it and I wouldn't have to settle for a normal life. Like that's a really good question. All I didn't want to do was have a life like my parents. Not that I love my parents. I'm gonna see them next week. Like, I love them. I just didn't want a normal life. I didn't want wake up, go to work, come home. Like, I would wake up every day for school, and I'd see my dad for 5 minutes before he goes to the office, and then I don't see him until 7 p.m. at night. We see him for 20 minutes, and then like that's like
I rinse and repeat 5 days a week.
I just didn't fucking want that. I didn't know what I wanted. I just would not settle for an average, mediocre, typical life. Like, it just wasn't gonna happen. If I open a gym, I was gonna get stuck doing that shit. But if I make money from my laptop, I get to be a fucking renegade again, right? All my
freedom. Yeah.
All my friends in high school, they were gonna become accountants and lawyers and doctors and all that shit, and that's fine. I was gonna play pro basketball, so I was gonna be a renegade. Fuck, I'm not playing basketball anymore. How am I gonna fucking maintain this? Blaze my own path? Yeah. Oh, I'll make money from my laptop, right? And then I'll have freedom. And at the same time, I also was like, I'll have respect, right? Because I was doubted my whole life. Like, I don't think people realize when people doubt you, the reason you hate it is because it's disrespect. They're just straight up disrespecting you. They're saying they don't believe in you. And that drive to make them eat their words is powerful, man. Tim Grover, I don't know if you've had him on your show.
Not yet, but
I'm sure you will. Yeah, I don't doubt that for a second. Yeah. He talks a lot about Relentless, about this idea of like dark energy and how Dwayne Wade would tap into it. And I think that's a real fucking thing. And I think more people need to tap into it. I think they could achieve a lot more because if like you think about yin and yang and light energy and dark energy, if we're only tapping into one, we're only using half our shit. And that dark energy to like prove, you're not going to hurt them, but you're going to prove them wrong. You're going to show them, like, that's
And Tony
powerful.
Robbins talks about the concept that people are more motivated to move away from pain than they are towards pleasure.
Yeah.
And so it makes total sense, is that if you have something, it's going to give you, if something bothering you, a chip on your shoulder, people that doubt you, a breakup, like we were talking earlier.
Exactly.
Whatever it is, that's going to give you reserves of energy to push when just being positive or motivated aren't going to be there.
It's not.
It doesn't give you an unreasonable amount of action to follow through. Yeah.
Exactly. And there's a great story that Gary Bencivenga is one of the best copywriters. He tells about this. I think illustrates it perfectly. He says, imagine it's 3 a.m. and you're asleep, and your buddy calls you. You pick up your phone, and you're like, what's going on, man? And he's like, yo, Sears is having a tire sale right now. You can get 4 badass tires for 50% off. Let's go right now. You're like, I'm fucking sleeping. I'm not going to get tires right now. What the fuck is wrong with you? Click. 20 minutes later, your phone rings again. You go, what is it? He goes, dude, so I'm on my way to Sears, but I just want you to know I was driving by your house, and I saw some dude. He had your car, like, up and it looked like they were breaking off with all your tires right now. You're like, what the fuck? You slam the phone down, you run outside to go save your tires because you're a million times more motivated to save what you already have than to go get a deal or go get something, right? It's that drive to avoid loss instead of to gain.
Yeah, wow, that makes total sense. Who's that by?
His name's Gary Bencivenga.
Gary Bencivenga. We'll check that out.
Yeah.
All right, so Elliot Hulse, going back to that, he introduces you to digital marketing, the ebook space. Now, did you just walk in cold because you knew he had a gym, or did you guys have a relationship? I mean, how did you even touch base there?
So I would study a lot of online training material. There's a website called EliteFTS.com. It was like a athletic training website, powerlifting website, and Elliot was one of the Q&A people, experts on the site.
Gotcha.
And I saw in his bio once he was in St. Pete. And I'm like, well, I'm living in St. Pete right now. So I found his address like literally walking distance from Eckerd College where I was at. So I just walked there. I just went there.
So cold.
Totally cold.
So this is very important because almost in every interview, when we interview people, there's always some spark of opportunity that comes, but it's because they took that little moment of action.
Yes.
That little moment of initiative to check it out, to check out the thing, whatever, the class, the webinar, talk to the person, whatever it is, just take that one step. So boom, you go in there, no clue what the hell is going to happen. It goes on to change your life completely.
Completely.
Okay, so then you meet him, find out about the ebook, and then what goes through your mind? He's like doing well, so you wanna do it. I mean, like walk me through day one.
It took a long time for him to convince me to try it. Mm-hmm. So I went there. Let's say so the season ended in March. I probably went there in April. I didn't write my ebook until October. So 6 months it took of us dialoguing and talking and staying in touch until finally I was like, I'm gonna fucking just try this. So I wrote the book. It was a basketball training book helping basketball players dribble better.
How long was the book?
Probably 115 pages plus a bunch of videos.
So you really went in deep to write this thing.
It was a legit book, yeah.
Yeah.
Writing though, I've always, like in school, that like D student in science, fucking D student in math, terrible student in everything except for anything writing. I had a knack for writing. I remember on my ACT score, I was like shitty on everything, and then rhetoric, I was a 99. So like speaking, persuasiveness, that's my thing, right? So
did you read a lot as a kid?
Tons.
Is that, you think that's why that helped sort of?
I think it
shape
helped
your mind.
Fuck ton. I would read for hours every night. Because it's my birthday, I just got a gift from my parents, and they got me a globe, and it was engraved on the thing. It said something like, from Harry Potter to Jason Capital, you're our star. It was like something nice like that. But Harry Potter, because whenever a Harry Potter book would come out when I was young, I would finish the book in a day. And these are 800, 900 page books. I would wake up at 7. It was like everyone knew it. It was
like a ritual.
Wake up at 7. No one bother Jason today. And he's going to be done at like 11 p.m. tonight and finish the book. And this is what I did with every single one.
Holy shit. So were you natural at that, or did you have to cultivate that muscle? Because there's people that struggle to get through a chapter, let alone a book.
I mean, when you're reading shit you like, you can just do it all day.
Yeah.
At least for me.
Yeah.
Like there's times now where I got to be reading books where I'm trying, like, so one of the things with me that I struggle with as an entrepreneur is the operation side, the managing side of a team side. And that's why you hire people who can help you with that kind of stuff. But there was a period there where I was trying to learn it myself so I can at least understand it. And reading these management books, these operation books, I'm like pulling fucking, like it's that. Like, it's like, I don't want to do it. My dog barks and I'm like, yup, that's a worthy distraction. Let me set this book down. Let me go. He might be dying. I got to make sure, right? What if he has AIDS right now?
What if he's hungry?
Like what happened? So got to go help him. But when I'm reading Harry Potter, dude, no problem. Dog barks. He could be dying. I don't even hear him. And I love my dogs, right? But it's just, you get so pulled into the story. So I know in my life now, if I'm reading about stuff that like I can't put it down, this is good, right? And when I'm reading about copy or persuasion or sales, I don't put it down. I'm like obsessed with it.
How important do you think it is for people out there, whether they're entrepreneurs or just trying to make their life work, how important it is for people to actually read and cultivate the habit of reading?
Essential. I don't know anyone super successful who doesn't read a lot. And you don't have to read books. You could be listening to books. And I think there's a few people who they get their information not from books, but studying people. But that's genius. That's like rare. You're not going to get that with most people. I think Gary Vee, like he doesn't read, right? He just studies people.
Yeah, he said he's wrote more books than he's read.
That's funny. And it's probably true. I don't know. I also know a lot of people who are successful. A lot of times they just say shit that might not be true. Like, like Joel, for instance, right? Joel Marion, both of our good friends. Joel was my second online marketing mentor, but Joel's read like 5 books in his entire life. And yet the guy has written enough copy fill up like this entire bookshelf.
Yeah.
Words, right? So
not to mention hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue through his business.
From those words that he's written. Yeah. So I think reading is essential. And I think you got to mix it up, obviously. I think the how-to information is good. I think the philosophy is really important. Biographies are my favorite, obviously, because they're stories,
Right. That's awesome. Okay, so then Elliot convinces you 6 months later or so, you write your book, 115 pages, you launch it. Is it an epic success, epic failure, flop? What happens?
Yeah. By the way, I just want to point out, you're very good at this interview, because I'm all over the place, and I can tell you're like, you know exactly where we're at, which is badass, dude.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, so I put out the book, and I remember putting it out on October 31st was the day I published it, because I was in college. So I was at Michigan State now, and I was just a normal student.
So almost 10 years ago to the day.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Which is crazy. Time flies, man.
That's crazy.
So I put it out October 31st, and I'm like, here's my plan. I'm gonna launch this ebook. I'm gonna go party tonight, Halloween party, have fun. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, I'm gonna be rich. Like that. This is my plan. And I'm gonna drop out of school eventually.
How much were you selling the ebook for?
$14.95 on PayPal.
$14.95 on PayPal?
Yep.
And then were you driving traffic to it, or?
No, of course not.
Well,
obviously, right? This is my logic, was I put up a website, of course people are gonna come. Right?
Yeah,
that's what you think. No one fucking came. I come back the next day, no sales, nothing at all. And I'm like, God damn it, this internet market, this is a scam. This doesn't work. This is bullshit.
Right.
So I just forget about it for a few months. And a few months pass, and I get an email or a text from my buddy Ryan McGinn. And Ryan worked at Elliot's gym with Elliot. Ryan is actually an influencer now. But Ryan's like, dude, there's this internet marketing seminar called the Underground Online Seminar by this guy, Yannick Silver, and it's in Washington, D.C. $3,000 a ticket. You have to go to this thing to help you sell your ebook. And I know you can't afford $3,000. They're giving away scholarships now to young entrepreneurs. You have to be under 25. You should do it. Just apply. And I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll apply. So I go and apply. And week before the event happens, I still haven't heard anything, so I assume I'm not getting picked.
Right.
And I get a call from the event organizer. Her name was Shanika. And she goes, hey, good news and bad news. She goes, the bad news is you were not one of the 10 scholarship winners we selected. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And the good news, number 10, she was from Pakistan. Her government will let her come to the States. Do you want the spot? Fuck yeah, I want the spot. Yeah. Right? So I'm like, I remember I hang up the phone. I do like a fucking dance in my dorm room. I remember calling my mom. I'm like, Mom, I'm doing it. I made it, right? I haven't done shit yet, but you confuse activity for achievement. You're like, I made it. And I scrounged money together. I had to borrow from my parents, which I did pay them back, for a plane ticket to DC for this event. And I go there, and I didn't learn anything from the seminar, to be honest.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of overwhelm from the seminar because I didn't know what the hell they were talking about.
Right.
But in between talks, I met a guy named Craig Valentine. And Craig sat me down, and he just took a liking to me for whatever reason. Craig was already making millions of dollars on the internet, and he was like, you have an ebook, great, you're halfway there, here's what you need to do. He takes out like a piece of paper, he's like, do this, and you'll be good. I'm like, okay, I can do that. So I go back home with this plan. I immediately implement exactly what he said. I don't guess, I don't change, I don't try and inject my own. No. I'm like, let's assume I'm an idiot here and just do what the smart person told me. And I did it, and made almost $20,000 that first week.
Wow.
And then from that point on, that business was making me almost $20,000 every single month.
And you're 20 at the time.
I was 20, making $20,000 a month, yeah.
So if you can go back, what did Craig Valentine, who we've had on the show, by the way, author of The Perfect Day Formula,
Yes.
What did he tell you on that sheet for people out there that might want to?
He said, do a product launch. He said, get affiliates, do a product launch. And that was it.
Affiliates meaning find other people who have email lists or whatever, and basically have them promote your product in exchange for a % of commission or something like that.
Exactly. And there weren't that many affiliates in that basketball. Right? It's such a small space. There was one company called Jump USA, which if anyone played basketball and they read Slam magazine when they were younger, which I would read, they had these ads in the back of the magazine for like these jump shoes. I don't know if you ever saw those.
I remember Slam magazines. That's when there's like a little kid like slam dunking on the cover usually, and it said Slam in like a.
I think so. They'd have a picture of a player on the front. It was like a dope magazine. But there are these ads at every issue that every high school basketball player or kid was like, because everyone wanted to dunk, and it was like these magical shoes where it's like a shoe and then a platform on the top. So you're basically walking on your toes all day.
Right.
And I have no idea if it works, but it was the company Jump USA sold them. So I'm now 20, and I'm like, well, they still probably have basketball players. And I hit up the CEO and got on the phone with him. And we talked for like 20 minutes, and he was like, his name was John, great guy. He's like, yeah, I'll promote it. And I remember hanging up the phone, and now I'm like, Mom, we fucking made it. Like, this guy's gonna send some customers.
So did you offer them a commission or something like that?
Yeah, so 75% commissions on ClickBank we were doing back then.
Yeah.
And he was the biggest affiliate. He brought in more than half the customers on that first week.
Wow. So they just promoted. So basically, you didn't do any ad spend per se. You just went out and reached out to affiliates to help promote your product, offered worked up a commission deal.
Yeah, we
promoted it that way.
I had sold over $25 million of stuff from my laptop before ever spending a penny on ads. Ever.
Wow.
It was all referral and word of mouth.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So you're tripping out. You're making 20 grand a month as a kid. You went from being totally broke to making 20 grand a month at 20.
Yep.
And then how does that scale or tick up or phase out? I mean,
yeah, well, no. So I didn't know the word scale. I didn't know what any of that shit meant. All I knew was, "How you fuckers are in class." I dropped out immediately, right? And I'm like, "You fuckers are in class. I'm balling."
So you made 20 grand. It's like, all right, peace out.
Yeah, I was like, I'm set for life. Like, I was like, this money is an insane amount of money, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like Scrooge McDuck now. I can swim in this shit. 20 G's. Which, by the way, when you go to a bank, you get 20 grand. It's like that much.
Yeah.
Right? You can't even hurt someone with that.
Yeah.
So
But at the time, you were like a millionaire, right? Yeah.
I was the richest person in the world. Yeah. I took all that money and I went on Craigslist and I found an Audi A4 Cabriolet, beige outside, beige inside, convertible. Called the guy. It was like 2004 used car, but I wanted it, right? Take it for a test drive. I was like, yep, I want it. And I take out the check, all the money I'd earned, and I just give it to him. He gives me the keys, and I bought it.
How much was it?
It was like $19,000 something.
Wow. Yeah.
So I immediately spent all of it on a car, right? Like, that was me. But now I go back to campus, right? And I lived on campus, but I wasn't in school anymore. So I was just enjoying myself. I would party and mingle and socialize and put the top down and just drive around and stunt on motherfuckers.
Yeah. And then show other people what you're doing and all that.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about college too, because I think that's when the opportunity came about for your next venture, which was helping men in the dating space.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about how you evolved or how it sort of, because obviously, you can't sell basketball programs forever.
Right. Especially if you're not playing anymore.
Yeah, especially if you're not playing anymore.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that transition and how you phased that and took it to the next level.
Totally. So playing basketball growing up, like I said, I spent all day in the gym, which meant no time around girls. So I was completely inexperienced. I never kissed a girl. I never had a girlfriend when I was 20, like any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So once I
You
started
had an Audi Cabriolet before you had a girlfriend. Before you ever had a first kiss.
It was somewhere. I think I'd gotten a girlfriend before the Audi, but it was like I wrote the ebook first before.
Yeah. Wow.
It was somewhere around there. So
technically, you almost had the Audi at the same time you got your first girlfriend, right?
Yeah. They went. I'm not gonna say I got the girlfriend because of the Audi, but I think I got the girl, which I don't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
And then I got the car. It was somewhere around there.
So you had one hell of a month. You're 20, make 20 grand, get the girl, get the Audi. So you're in like a good fit. You're on the upswing in life.
Totally. Yeah. I'm like blasting the Rick Ross in the car, singing out the lyrics. Don't give a fuck anymore. Yeah.
Checking your email for the passive income. Yeah.
Every 20 minutes for sales as they come in. Yeah. Like 100%. My shit doesn't stink at all. And like I remember being on campus and I'd park my car at like the local deli or whatever. And then one of my old professors would park next to me at the same time, and they get out of this like piece of shit 1993 Ford Taurus, and I got out of this fucking Audi convertible, and I look at them and I'm like, what's up? And I just like keep walking. And like it was one of those periods in my life where I was very happy with myself.
Did you tell your parents at that time? Were they blown away, or what was their reaction?
Completely did not understand. My mom had no idea what I was doing. My dad super supportive.
Yeah.
My dad very pragmatic. It's good. It'll make money while you can, but make sure you get ready to go back and get your degree eventually, et cetera.
Right,
that was him. And my mom was no idea how it's happening, doesn't understand it at all. They did an article on me in like the local Michigan State newspaper, and they called my mom and they got a quote from her. And she still like, I remember the quote was like, he's just very ambitious, because she had no idea what I was doing. So with the girl thing, once like, I'm like, I have money, I have a car, like I have some stability in my life now. Maybe I should look into this girl thing, right? I'm 20 on college. So I remember going to a frat party with my friends, and we walk in and they immediately start talking to girls and they like know what to say. I have no idea what to say. I am completely shy, completely tongue-tied. I remember like talking to one girl and she does the whole, it was nice meeting you. I got to go find my friends, like that thing.
Right.
And that rejection just really got at me. I was like, wait, I'm a boss. You don't reject me. Like, yeah. And I got really motivated to like get good at that side of things. And copywriting and persuasion and being good at communicating with people, because it's not about game or seduction or anything. It's, are you a good communicator? Are you an impactful communicator? Are you a persuasive, influential person? Do you know how to influence and persuade and win the attention of people? Those are the things that really matter. And those are real skills that will make you a lot of money. And I got really into that side of things because I was like, I'll get good at this. This will help my sales online. And the more I learn about sales online, the more it'll help me in real life. It was like this virtuous kind of feedback loop where they both feed each other. And I got really good with the opposite sex.
So
and
did you just go out and practice,
totally,
talk to people? I mean, what was how did you go all in and like get better at that craft?
So read every book that was available on it. Become friends with guys who were really good with girls. I would go to, what was interesting is I would go to like marketing seminars, online marketing seminars, but a lot of the guys who were good at online marketing were good at the game part of it too. So I made them my friends. In fact, one of them, his name was Adam Gilad, became a mentor of mine. He's a great relationship coach. So I just surrounded myself in that environment. I got mentors, I bought courses, I studied, I went out. The same way you get good at anything, right? Mm-hmm. And I got so good that there was a frat there, and there was a dude in the frat who recognized what I was doing. And the frat didn't really like that a lot of their sorority girls were talking to me instead of them. And he was like smart about this. So he comes up to me and he's like, why don't you show us what you're doing here? And then you can like get all the perks of being like a frat member. You can hang out with us. You can be like the king at the party.
Yeah, just show us how to get girls and we'll give you all the perks.
I would like pull out a whiteboard at 8 p.m. on a Friday night with the red cup in my hand, drinking vodka Red Bull, teaching my buddies, like, first you say this, and then you do this, and then you do a takeaway here. Like, teaching them all this stuff. And I started doing that like every weekend, teaching guys on campus how to get good with girls. And then their brothers or their older brothers, one of them referred their dad to me, and I started getting paid to teach guys about girls.
Wow.
And I was like, this is crazy, because like I'm reading these books by these guys, and I think they're like, you know, Don Juans and Casanovas, and I just learned this shit, right?
Yeah.
And I'm getting paid for it. This is cool.
That's incredible. Now, at what stage does that happen? Does that happen at 20, 21?
It was around there, 20, 21.
So now you're like realizing the power in teaching and learning these high income skill sets and these opportune skill sets. Okay. So then how do you translate and take that to the digital realm, right? Because that became your next set of digital products?
Yeah. So at 22, I moved from Michigan to San Diego with a buddy of mine who was an online marketer also.
So for those 2 years from 2022, the basketball thing was kind of...
That was it. Yep.
Okay.
It was, but I wasn't pushing it. I was just trying to maintain it.
Right.
And if you try to maintain anything, you're going to fucking fail with it completely. Yeah. And that's what happened. So I go to San Diego. I'm still on the maintain paradigm instead of the growth paradigm. And my basketball income starts to slowly go down. And eventually it goes down to zero. So much so that my choice was either I'm going to pay Uncle Sam or I'm going to pay my rent bill. And I chose to pay Uncle Sam. And
you weren't saving at that time or being smart with it. You were just like having fun with it, kind of.
Completely, yeah. I was. When I moved to California, man. No bullshit. I never tried marijuana before, and it was like new and legal in California out here. Yeah. And I tried it, and I was like, oh, I like this. This is fun. So I started doing that a lot, and then I would make the mistake of doing that and then going to Gaslamp in San Diego and going shopping while high.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Yeah, it's like driving under influence. Like you're gonna do something wrong. I would just buy like clothing I didn't need and shit like that.
Yeah.
Until there was nothing left.
And how old are you when you moved to California?
22.
That's 22. Okay.
So about 18 months later, I was out of everything, and I moved back home to my mom's basement.
Shit.
Right, with no money. I still had the basketball business, but like it was
fumes.
It was fumes. It was garbage, and I wasn't passionate at all about it anymore. But I was still like getting some money on the side, helping guys. I was doing like email dating coaching, like people back in Michigan who wanted advice. I was like, yeah, give me $100, I'll tell you what to say. Like that. And I was like, I can make a real business out of this. Now, the thing I don't talk about a lot then is I had this huge fear of going public with the dating stuff. Because at that moment, like at that time, I was like, it's hush, hush. I don't tell anyone about that.
Right.
Because there's a lot of connotations with that.
Right.
Like, do you lie to women? Do you take advantage of women?
Do you manipulate?
Are you teaching people to manipulate or be dishonest?
Asshole, dirtbag,
Yeah, all the terms, right? I don't know about dirtbag. I'm just talking with you. And I have a mom that I love, and I have a younger sister. I'm like, what if I'm saying shit out there online and then my sister sees it? Like it's kind of weird. So I did not want to put out any of that information for a long time, and eventually it was a combination of, one, I need money. 2, I am super passionate about this. I should be talking about what I'm passionate about. And I shouldn't let worrying about what people think stop me from putting this stuff out there. Because you know what? There's a lot of dudes who need my help. So I started publishing that information. And And I started from my mom's basement. And within a couple months, money started to come in from it. And I moved back to Santa Monica now in California.
Was that a course or was it on YouTube or like how were you publishing content around that?
It was it was an ebook. It's called Make Women Want You.
Make Women Want You.
Make Women Want You.
And you same thing, you use the affiliate strategy.
Well, at first I started I only knew one person in the dating industry that would be an affiliate. So I had enough to move back to California, right?
Gotcha.
And then I really got focused on it. And I got really I switched from this like, oh, I'll make 20 grand a month and like people respect, like bullshit like that to let's play at a high fucking level here.
Yeah.
Let's not settle. Let's see how fucking high we can go with this. Let's just play. We'll see what we can do. And I went from mom's basement to a millionaire in 9 months in that whole period with the dating stuff. That's how I became a millionaire.
Wow. And that again was with affiliates.
Yep, all affiliates. And because the copy was so good, the product converted really well. The program is amazing. In that
and you were writing your own copy at that time?
Everything.
So same thing, you were learning your copy by courses, reading material, trial and error?
Yeah, and the fastest way to learn copy is to write with money on the line, is what I say. A lot of people want to learn copy and they'll practice at home or they'll do the Gary Halbert thing, writing by hand. You don't really get good until like your back is up against the fucking wall and either your words need to put food on the table or you're fucked. That's when, you start tapping into these reserves you didn't know you had and the good shit comes out. A lot of intermediate or young copywriters, they will
practice forever kind of thing.
They definitely practice forever. They're the perfectionist bullshit. Or they will just go really soft with the copy. They don't want to push buttons too hard. When you write good copy, you're really digging into like these deep emotions that people have, things that are uncomfortable. And a young copywriter doesn't want to talk about the uncomfortable shit their prospect is going through because it makes them uncomfortable. So they just keep it safe. If you want to get good at copy, you have to like be able to dig into someone's pain or someone's uncomfortableness or those topics and still be strong yourself and still be grounded yourself and not let it affect you.
Yeah.
And the deeper you can go into that stuff, the more powerful your copy is going to be.
So let's talk about that for a second. Because
Yeah.
I think, and for people that don't know what copy is basically words that sell.
Yes.
Right? So on a sales letter or any sort of product out there.
It's the messaging.
The messaging.
Right. It's just the message. It could be a webinar, a VSL. It's your Instagram caption. It's your Facebook post. It's what you say on a phone call to try and persuade someone. It's just messaging, whether you say it or write it or some comment. So, and that's the thing is everyone watching right now, whether they know what copy is or isn't, they use it every single day. And if they're not using it correctly, then you can be certain that other people are using it on them.
Interesting. So what would Jason Capital's top 3 tips to be a phenomenal copywriter be?
That's a really good question. Number one, you have to write your ass off. Like you got to be writing every day. The best copywriters I know, the first thing they do when they wake up, they might have a morning ritual, and then immediately after, they write copy for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 hours. You have to write every day. Number 2, you need to get mentors. You need to get training. You're not like self-education. I think Jim Rohn said formal education will make you living, self-education make you a fortune. Fucking true as shit, but you need a fucking mentor, right? And mentorship is not formal education in my opinion at all, but you need a trainer, you need a course, like you need to really have someone there live online or in person who's looking at what you're writing, standing over your shoulder, telling you what you're doing. Like you will just course correct and you will grow so much faster with that. So you need a mentor. And then the third is you got to start writing with money on the line, MLTL. Like you got to find a way to put yourself up against the wall where your words have to produce money, otherwise you're fucked. And that is I play these games with myself a lot because life's good now, right? Like what's the motivation now?
Right. And you became a millionaire at what age?
24.
24, and it's only grown and grown. Oh shit!
Yeah,
it's only grown and grown since then.
Yes.
So yeah. So talk to me about what you were saying about how you've, like you said, it's only grown and grown and grown. The games you play with yourself.
So at each level you go up, right? Like every level I go up, there's new players, and what I do, and I don't recommend everyone do this, but I look for the top players, and I look for ways to make them doubt me. And I know that sounds crazy, but so for instance, at this new level I'm at now, because my company we're just under an 8-figure company now, and we're about to cross that threshold, and I want to keep fucking building and growing from there, right? People at this level with their direct response marketing companies or their big influencer brands or whatever, these are new players for me, right? It's like the hero's journey in Joseph Campbell. Are you familiar with?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you enter this new world and there's new enemies and new villains and new players, and I would want to meet them in person, and I would again, don't remember this, but I would play not stupid with them, but I wouldn't try to impress them. I wouldn't try to show them I'm really smart. I would want to just like let them talk while I say nothing to make them think that he's not like a super contender or like or whatever it is. And then without demonstrating any type of expertise, I want them thinking, how the fuck did he even get successful at this age? Because he doesn't seem like he's that legit. Right? I want them to be thinking that. And then I want to tell them my goal. So when they look at me the same way those fucking basketball players would look at me, like, really? You want to, like, okay, well, good luck with that. Because I need that to motivate me. Like we're talking about like the gain versus loss thing, man. So I would like play those games myself. Other things I'll do is I'll just set ridiculous deadlines for myself. I have to produce this many sales by this date. I don't need the money. There's no reason why I would need to do that. It's just you keep playing these little mind games with yourself to keep accelerating to where you want to go.
Yeah, otherwise you're just counting on your emotions, which can get comfortable or whatever, yeah.
Exactly, and that's the problem. Like, dude, like the house we're in right now, this is a $25 million house on Newport Harbor in Newport Beach. Like,
beautiful house, yeah.
Yeah,
love the water.
Like the woman who lived here before me was Shannon Bedore from Real Housewives of Orange County. Right?
Wow.
So Shannon is my house now, right? But like, but like that, like she was here, right? I'm living in like some TV star's house, like that's crazy to me.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel real at all still, but yeah, it's really comfortable, right? Yeah. So for the last couple of years, I don't know, when I was 26, 27, I was just cruising. I'm making a few $1,000,000 a year. I would like in 2015, dude, I went to Vegas 25 times. Like literally, I gotta twice a month, get on a Virgin first class flight, 45 minute flight, ball out and party for 2 or 3 days, come back here, sleep for 2 days and recover, and then get back to work. Like that was like my fucking schedule.
Yeah.
And about a year and a half ago, actually 2 years ago, I went to a seminar in Scotland with Dan Pena. And I went to it on purpose because I was so comfortable and shit was so good that I wasn't growing. And I needed someone to look at me and say, you're not doing jack shit. And I got that from Dan Pena. So now I'm like, there's a new level, there's new motivation.
Right. That's awesome, man. Okay, so then you're at that age about, 24, stuff starts popping off. You get to where you're at now, and can you talk a little bit about what you do now and what you help people with? Because you've obviously accumulated a lot of these skill sets in writing.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what you've helped students with through your various programs and what your kind of focus is in now?
Yeah, so with our dating company, which I don't do at all, I haven't done it in a couple of years, but we accumulated over 12,000 success stories.
Wow.
With that. So we made a real impact there and helped a lot of guys. And for anyone wondering, there was nothing deceitful, nothing dishonest. My title back then was America's Honest Dating Coach because I taught guys to be incredibly
ethical, about
overwhelmingly honest. Like if she asks you if she looks fat in those jeans, you would say, I don't know, let me see it from the side, right? Or like joking, but just honest, right?
Yeah.
Just being incredibly honest and upfront about your intentions and everything. If she's like, is this a serious thing? Do you see us going somewhere? If you don't, you say, no, I'm just having fun, right? And what I found is that women respect the honesty a lot more than just telling them the bullshit you think they want to hear. So that was good. And then the thing that came out of the dating experience was the number one thing I could teach guys to be successful with women, but also in business and everything, was to become a high status individual, which meant body language and vocal tonality and eye contact and these things that are sub-communicated. And it's not what we say, but how we say it and how we present ourselves. And that was what I ended up teaching guys there. And I took that and I put it in this book here, Higher Status, which was very strongly a personal development book. And this became a bestseller, which was cool. And then in the last year, man, I've been extremely focused on, it's funny, man, because I don't know, I'm opening up a lot here, but when we put this out and all this material, I was really excited about it. But after a couple months, I wasn't that passionate about it anymore. And it felt like going through the motions with the marketing and the promotions and stuff. And up until about a few months ago, it felt stale. And I don't know when it happened, but I realized, like, dude, fuck, I love the copy. Like, copy was one of those high income skills that I got really good at because I had to. But there's sales and there's other stuff. There's branding. There's networking, right? But the thing I could talk about all fucking day was copy. So a few months ago, we made a decision, like, this is what we're going to help people with so they can escape the rat race. Like what I do now, we say, is I help people replace rat race income with laptop income. And the way we do that is through copy. So we have a course called Email Income, which is a certification program where I teach people how to get businesses to pay them $1 to $5 grand a month to do their email marketing for them. And we've had dozens of six-figure mentees who've gone through that, which is awesome. And we have like high-level copy trainings that we do now. But it's
awesome,
it's
man.
copy, man. I could dude, I know we got to wrap up soon, but like I could talk to you about copy all day, like every day.
Let's go into it, and maybe not all day, but let's go into it for a little bit. So I know we have a mutual friend named Craig Clemens, who's one of the most awesome copywriters in recent history. Can you talk a little bit about maybe some inner philosophies or strategies? Because I know that when I spoke with Craig, he always says the famous line of "enter the conversation in the potential customer's mind."
Yes.
So, and I know before this we were talking a little bit about that. So, let's geek out for a second here. Whether people are copywriters or not copywriters, talk to me. How does somebody go about persuading or influencing another human being to see an opportunity? Because it's not just the outcome, right? People buy things for emotions, right? So
completely.
Just Jason Capital. Feel free to geek out all the copywriting secrets, talk to us.
The first thing I want to say, and this is what I'm seeing on the internet right now at the end of 2018, is I think there's a credibility crisis going on in internet marketing right now. When I say internet marketing, I mean social media, Instagram, influencers, anyone selling anything online. I think there's a credibility crisis. I think that people they don't believe anyone anymore. The media lies to them. Right? Fake news. Both sides are fake news, right? So everyone's lying on the TV.
Right.
There was just a study I saw actually the other day where it showed like people lie 2 to 3 times every 10 minutes now, right? And it's all bullshit, and we know it. Like when you see a hot chick on Instagram being like, "This tea, I love this tea," you're like, "I know you don't fucking drink that tea. You don't use that protein." Like we don't believe any of this shit anymore, and yet we keep doing the same things and making the same. No one fucking believes you. So when it comes to copy, dude, in order to be persuasive, you have to be credible. In order to be credible, you have to be believable. In order to be believable, you have to tell the truth. So the thing about copy, which makes no sense to most people in marketing, is that you have to tell the truth. And people think the truth is boring, the truth won't work. The truth is the most important story that you can tell. So that is huge to me. And I think if anyone's watching right now and you do any copy or marketing and anything, like see where you're making the same promises or doing the same shit as everyone else and stop it immediately. Just start telling the truth. A lot of people follow me and they tell me, "Jason, I follow you because you're just the most authentic dude I know," right? Like if you are doing something just because you want money, like you'll tell us like, "Hey, I'm selling you this. Why am I selling it? I just need some fucking money right now." Right? And people, they don't go, "Oh, you're sleazy." They go, "Thank you for telling me the fucking truth." Because I just heard from 10 other people, they were selling me some shit. And I knew they were only doing it because they wanted money. But you're the only one who told me that that's why you're doing it, right? So be fucking honest, like incredibly honest and truthful in your copy.
Why do you think most people are not?
Dude, we could take it deep. I think a lack of self-esteem is a big part of it. So like they've instead of telling the story about how their company actually got started, right? Their origin story, let's say. They go, "You know what? It's boring. It's been told before. Our shit's not that interesting." Low self-esteem, right? A low self-image. But what if we said this happened and we embellished it this way and we added this bullshit drama into it? That would be a good story. No, the fucking true story is the best story. So I think low self-esteem is a big part of it. And I think everyone is so stuck in this pattern of constantly comparing themselves and their business and their messaging to what everyone else is doing. And they see the market leader and they're like, "Well, if this person's winning, I got to say something like what they're saying."
Right.
And they just get more and more away from their truth and themselves. And
they start catering to what they think people want. I mean, an example is kind of, I forget who, I don't know if it was Bedros or somebody saying that people are trying to emulate Gary Vee, or like instead of trying to be their own version of their own Gary Vee, they're trying to emulate what's out there. And in the process, just the market gets super saturated with the same shit. Nobody knows what to believe.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's how every market goes, right? We see the pattern. There's someone who kills it, and then 100 people who try and imitate this person. And of course, they're never going to do it. They do 10% as well, right? Because, and I've seen a lot of people, like I'm speaking at this event coming up next month in New York, and I saw a clip of one of the other speakers who was going to be there, and it was like, "God, this person wants to be Gary Vee so bad." So you're literally looking at them, and instead of listening to what they say, you're like, "Oh, this guy just wants to be Gary Vee." Right? So you're not even listening to what they say. And you're exactly right. Like everyone wants to be Gary Vee. Everyone wants to be Grant Cardone. And it's like, do you, dude?
Right.
Like, I guarantee you Grant isn't waking up like, "Oh, who can I emulate today?"
Right. Yeah.
He's like, "No, I'm going to be the best fucking version of myself. Whether people like it or not, I'm going to be me." And that's the other part about telling your true story and constantly telling the truth is you become incredibly polarizing, right? Which is basically the most authentic version of yourself. And when you do that, you're gonna attract people who vibe with you, like your vibes. There's a connection there, and now they love you. And at the same time, there's people that you're gonna repel. Like I'll demonstrate right now, right? So I'm wearing this ring here. It says T45, right? And it says Make America Great. It says Made America Great Again here, right? T Trump 45th president, right?
Right.
I know very little about politics. I don't even care about politics. I think that it's like it's a movie, like it's a theater. It's not real. It doesn't affect me that much, right? First of all, me saying that is gonna piss some people off. But it's also gonna mean that part of the people watching or listening are gonna be like, I don't give a fuck about politics either. I like this guy.
Me too.
Yeah. There's other people who like Trump.
Yeah.
Right? No question. I think he's a huge badass. I think as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a businessman, as a persuader, his copy, his messaging is insanely good, right? I admire the shit out of that. There's people listening who admire the shit out of that too. They're gonna be like, I fucking like this Jason guy. I'll roll with this dude because he's saying it, right?
Right.
And then there's people who hate Trump. And they're hearing this now, and they probably just shut off this interview because I'm saying that I like Trump, right? But
they're about to comment below right now, yeah.
Yeah, they're tapping away. This asshole, look at his loud jacket. He's so insecure. I already know all the shit they're gonna say.
Yeah.
We put up a Facebook ad the other day. I was wearing this shirt with the low cut, and people were like, "Why are you wearing your sister's t-shirt? Like you stretched it out already, like shit." Like, and I don't give a fuck. That's the whole point. Someone put yawn in the comment, right? If I made you actually yawn, you would have yawned. You wouldn't have typed yawn. So I got an emotional reaction out of you, right?
Yeah.
So I won. But it's about being polarizing. I want to be polarizing.
And most people are afraid to repel, so they play it safe. That's kind of what you're saying.
But here's the thing. This is what I taught dating, and I teach the same thing in marketing, is that you want to attract people to you, right? What is the opposite of attraction? People think it's to repel, right? But it's not. When you are attracting people to you, it's when you're putting that raw, honest, polarizing version of yourself out there, right? So the opposite of attraction isn't repelling people. It's a byproduct. The opposite of attraction is inhibition. It's when you are playing it safe and you're not being too far right or left or forward or back or up or down. When you're just playing it safe, when you're inhibited with what you're doing, now you're not attracting anyone and now you're not repelling anyone. So the opposite.
Interesting. I like that.
It's about being inhibited. So the secret to being attractive is to be disinhibited, right? It's to be, and what I mean by that is you don't give a fuck about expectations of others. You don't try and play up to other people's opinions or expectations. You are just the most honest, grounded, raw, real version of yourself. And that disinhibition, that true, honest version of yourself, that's gonna attract people to you, and that's gonna repel. Like the minute everyone's like, I wanna attract customers, I wanna attract things. You have to understand, the minute you start attracting people, what are you also doing at the same time?
Repelling people.
You're automatically repelling people. So you have to sack the fuck up, right? As Pedro said, you have to man up and be like, I'm gonna put myself out there completely understanding I'm gonna get customers, I'm gonna get an audience, and I'm also gonna get haters, and I'm gonna get doubters, and you can't get one without the other. You will automatically get both.
Wow. And then in terms of what you were talking about with the copywriting stuff, because I love that, because it shows that any average person could pick up their skill sets from their laptop. Is it really that easy for people listening right now? Is it really as easy as really working on a craft? And like, talk a little bit about the opportunity that exists there.
Honest opinion, if someone's willing to work hard at it, 12 months, you could be making six figures in copy. You work your ass off, in 3 years, you should be a millionaire from copy.
Especially nowadays with the digital marketing platforms.
And that's the thing. That's why I said copy is just messaging. And everyone needs a message, and everyone, frankly, could use a better message in their copy. Whether it's a caption on Instagram or a Facebook post or the header on your Facebook page or your website copy, your video copy, your landing page copy, when people call your office, what does the person on the phone say? It's all messaging, it's all copy. So if you get really good at copy, you can go into anyone's business and increase their revenue and profits immediately, right? Without a whole bunch of research, without a whole bunch of other shit. If someone wants to just start making money with copy, like I said, 12 months, six figures if you work hard. But if you we teach new people email. That's where we start them at, with email copy, email marketing, because it's in an email. How long is the email? The emails we teach them are like 100 words to write. So like a webinar I just wrote, 22,000 words. Email, 100 words. How much more can go wrong in 22,000 words versus 100?
Oh, a whole lot
A
more.
lot more wrong, right?
Right.
But in 100 words, you can't fuck up that much.
Yeah, smaller margin for error.
Exactly. So we teach them email copy. It's easier and faster to learn. And then they can immediately go to businesses, and a restaurant, a sporting goods store, a dog sitter, a pet store, any local mom and pop store at all, because none of them collect emails. None of them do email marketing. And you go in there and you just have a conversation with them. And hey, pay me $1,500 a month, and I'll start collecting emails. I'll do your email marketing, and you will see this much return on your investment, this much more profit that you wouldn't have had otherwise. And they test it out, and these people are stunned. They're like, I can't believe that. So there's a sushi restaurant right here that I love. 300 people come in their door every day. They collect one email out of every 300 that comes in, right? So I told them, I was like, if you had a special system to collect emails, you should be getting half. So you should be getting 150 a day. That's, let's say, 1,000 a week, 50,000 at the end of the year. You should have a 50,000 person email list at the end of this year. All customers in the Orange County area that you should be sending 3 emails a week to come back to the restaurant. All of a sudden, everything increases.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there and they're like, why the fuck aren't we doing this, right? They're like calling and they're a corporate company, so they got to call corporate and go through this bureaucracy and bullshit. Yeah, but they're like dying to do it.
And that's one business. So imagine all the other ones around us all over. Yeah,
exactly.
That's incredible.
I mean, think about this. When's the last time you went to like a restaurant or anywhere and they like had a real good pitch to collect your email address?
Never. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so then talk to me about the technical side. I'm sorry, more of the philosophical technical side. So so when I say copy, like, and I know I keep like going back to it, but it's because I love that concept of entering the conversation in someone's mind. So I think one thing that Craig talked about, and I'd love to hear your thoughts, is that when you're selling to people, you're not selling to a perfect person. You're selling to somebody that has their own insecurities, their own worries. And so when you speak with that sort of language, you appeal to more people than trying to sound cookie cutter and perfect, which is what most people do, especially when they're trying to make money selling.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about like kind of what we were talking about earlier and share it with the audience about like how you're not selling the product, you're selling the emotion that product can help them achieve?
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, in copy, you want it to be like, if you write a good piece of copy, a college essay professor should look at that copy and want to kill themselves. Right. Because you break every rule in grammar, copy
structure,
no structure. There should be like ellipsis and italics in places it shouldn't be.
Red squiggly underlines.
With like yellow callouts and shit. And it should be very colloquial. It should be conversational. It should be short, snappy sentences. You want to write at like a 4th grade level because you want to speak to everybody, right?
Right.
So that's first. And entering the conversation in their mind, there's a guy named Robert Collier who wrote it's a book called Robert Collier Letter Book. He was a copywriter in the early 1900s. And it was he's the one who basically was like one of the godfathers and taught us all that principle. And it is so incredibly powerful if you can do it. And it's one of those terms that we're gonna get geek out here real quick, right?
Let's do it.
Because enter the conversation in their mind implies that it's a thought that they're having, right? But I don't necessarily want to enter the conversation in their mind. I want to enter the emotion in their heart and in their gut. Because that's obviously what moves people to take action and buy shit and do things with your copy. So yeah, we were talking before about like this course, right? That would be, basically the promise would be how to become a celebrity in your niche, right? And I was like, why would someone want to become a celebrity in your niche? And you said, what did you say? So they can buy shit, right?
To stick out from the competition.
To stand out.
To have that leverage.
So why do they want to stand out? And you said...
they'd want to have more leverage in the marketplace so that they can stick out from competitors, because then they can charge more, make more money, have less resistance, have more confidence when selling, et cetera, et cetera.
So they want more confidence. They want to make more money, basically. Why do they want to make more money, though?
So they can have more choices.
They can have more choices, right? Why would they want more choices?
So they don't feel boggled down. They feel like they have more freedom.
See, and that was the thing. We went from like they want shit, they want money, this stuff, and then you just said the F word, the better F word, feel, right? Because it's not end of the conversation in their mind, it's the emotion that they're experiencing. And you said they want to feel like they're not limited, right? Like they're not trapped. And that's a much deeper emotion. We went from how to be a celebrity to I just don't want to feel stuck and limited and like I'm a prisoner in my own life and there's like helpless, like there's nothing I can do. Like we get down to, they feel helpless. They feel powerless. They feel ignored. That's a huge one, right? It's that sense of when I was growing up with mom and dad, I had a brother and a sister and they paid more attention to my brothers and sisters than they did to me, right? So when I grow up, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna finally be accepted. I'm gonna finally get recognition. I'm gonna finally have the attention over other people. So someone's buying your how to be a celebrity thing because mom and dad ignored them at the dinner table when they were 11, right? And it's like, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But when we're writing copy, we have to, like, that's the thing.
You have to go deeper and say why? Why do they want that?
Why?
Why?
You have to keep going deeper, and you have to talk to them, and you'll hear it and comment, like it'll be offhand. You have to, copywriters, it's all about research and understanding the marketplace more than it is writing fancy words.
Right.
And that's why, like for me, I'm not a copywriter where someone can hire me and I'll write some copy for a financial newsletter, and then I'll write copy for a sushi restaurant, and then I'll write copy for some anti-aging, and then for some Alzheimer's product. Like I'm not gonna write in all these different niches or all these different industries, because if you're gonna do good at copy, you have to understand the deepest, darkest, most dominant emotion that your particular audience really feels and wants to get away from. And if I'm jumping around from niche to niche, it's too hard to figure out that dominant emotion, because it takes time. You got to go so deep with your prospects and your niche. So with dating, it took me like a year and a half of copy every single day before I cracked the code and I figured it out. And with what I'm doing now, it's taken me about 18 months. And it's just funny. Last night, I was sitting out here by myself, and I felt like I cracked the code last night, which is just ironic. And I make all these crazy notes myself on my phone. And it's not what you would think. It's not what you would think at all. It's not the emotion of they want to make money. They want, I originally thought it was they want freedom. They don't want to be stuck at a job. They don't want toxic coworkers and all the bullshit. They just want to be free. That's not what they want at all. That's freedom is an emotion, but it's still shallow. It goes so much deeper than that.
What was that realization last night that you're willing to share?
Yeah, so I don't want to share it all. Right, I gotta keep some secrets, but it was this idea that it's not freedom that they want, and it goes deeper than this.
Yeah.
But deeper than freedom is just fucking respect from their girlfriend who tells them why are you listening to these fucking success podcasts?
Right.
You're a loser, right? Like you just have a normal job. Like what the fuck are you even listening to this shit for? They want to prove that fucking bitch wrong, right? Or if it's a girl and the guy's giving her shit, she wants to prove that asshole wrong, right?
Or family or whatever.
Exactly, the family, the coworkers, everyone who doesn't believe in them, they want to make them eat their fucking words. And it's part of the aggressive that I want to make them eat my words, but also it's not a mean desire. It's just, I just wish people would fucking respect me, right? And that's like even deep, and it goes deeper than that. But that was part of the breakthrough for me last night, just realizing
that's powerful.
It's super powerful. And the thing is, copy isn't just, it's messaging, but it can also be, what are you projecting to your audience? And I mean this in people who have a niche, people who have an audience. Like you have a big audience, right? And they look up to you. And a lot of them follow you because of what you represent to them. So there's them in their life. And let's say that they are stuck at a job they don't like. They get a lot of disrespect and doubt from people. They're around a lot of negative crabs in their life, et cetera. There's that version of them that they have to be. There's the shadow side of them that is the exact opposite of that. And that guy is a rebel. That guy is free. That guy is connected. That guy is respected. That guy is a boss. And that's who they want to be. And they take that shadow because it's behind them. They can't see it. And they look around the world for a reflection of that shadow. And somehow your projection, like on the screen, on the podcast, on the video, came at them. And it spoke to them and it spoke to their shadow. And they go, we want to be like him. So they follow and they watch and they listen. And this is why people like celebrities. This is why people follow influencers. It's because that person represents the exact opposite of who they perceive themselves to be and who they wish they could be.
So you want to sell to that persona more so than sell to the person that's sort of
you want to represent their deepest, darkest identity desire of who they wish they could be and who they one day hope to be.
That's amazing, man.
And that's why copy gets fucking deep, and that's why I love it, man.
That's why you've done so well with it. So as we wrap up here, these last couple questions, I want to ask some stuff for the audience. Obviously with digital marketing, so many people are getting into the space. People are starting to leverage their passions and offering products and services to help others with it. We've seen a huge influx of people trying it more often than before. Can you speak to how important it is to just accept the fact that failure is a part of the process? Because like a lot of this interview and a lot of people's stories, we hear the good parts, but we don't see the days where you maybe lost thousands of dollars on ads or wasted, countless months or whatever tweaking products. Can you talk about how important it is to accept the fact that failure is part of the process?
Totally. Dude, I lost $7,000 yesterday. On ads. I lost $7,000 yesterday because we were testing something new and it didn't work. If I don't fail, I can't succeed, right? Which makes no sense to most people, but there is no way that you will succeed without failing along the way. It's almost like you want to fail your way to success. which is why I say the most important thing anyone can do is just keep taking action. That's like our number one rule on our Team Capital family is take huge action every day.
Yeah, even if it's imperfect. Yeah.
You just take imperfect action. Just keep fucking moving. Keep taking action. Expect to fail most of the time. And then once in a while you'll win and the lessons start to accumulate. Failure happens less often and success happens more often. But like, it's unfortunate that the media and social media now only projects these like perfect images of people and success, and they only show the highlights. They don't show actually like all the losses and the blood and the sweat and the tears, but that's 90% of it, right? Like, like it's cool that I live in this house and there's all this cool shit in the cars in the garage, but like when we're done, I'm gonna go film videos and I'm gonna fuck up some shit and we're just gonna keep going.
Yeah, building that momentum.
Yeah.
What were some, if you get a little personal, what were like maybe one or two big failures that you haven't shared before, or personal things that were rough, and how did you overcome them?
That's a good question. One, it's hard for me to call anything a failure because I really, like, I know it's a cliche to be like, I learned from my failures, but it's hard to learn at first because you're just so dejected by it. I try. When I was 21, I won't call it a failure, but I had a girlfriend and I was like, I wasn't in love with her, but I was in love with the idea of her. And it ended very, very fast. And she left me and I didn't, like, it wasn't like a breakup. It was just fell off the face of the earth, to stop responding to calls and texts. It was as if I didn't exist.
Wow, that's worse than a breakup, yeah.
It was super hard for me. And I actually got sick after that. Like, so much stress was built up from that experience. But for like 6 months, I like obsessively thought about like, how do I get her back? Like, how do I do? And I look back on that now and I'm like, God, I wasted 6 months on that bullshit.
Right.
So I don't call that a failure, but that was one, like that was a serious thing for me. That was a big turning point in my life once I got over that experience.
And you actually turned it around because you actually ended up helping people avoid their own situations. Like
and that's part of what I've done is anytime something is really hard for me, I resist it at first, and then I accept it, and then I conquer it, and then I go back and I teach it to other people, right? And so like one of them the last couple of years was as I was building this company and we're trying to scale past 8 figures now, I started saying yes to everything, taking everything on and putting myself second, third, just moving it down the list until I wasn't left at all.
Right.
And I started getting these mini panic attacks at like 28 years old, which you should not be getting. Like I can't breathe for a minute. Yeah. I'm super stressed out. I think I'm going fucking crazy in my head, like shit like that I would never talk about.
And you're already probably a little crazy because of copywriting, right?
I'm nuts no matter what, dude. Like dating stuff, like look at this, Jack. I'm crazy, man. Yeah. I accept and I enjoy my weirdness, but that was a really big thing for me. Like I thought I was like going crazy, and resisted it at first. Try to pretend like it doesn't happen, and then I was like, this is a real thing. I got to deal with this shit. And I started meditating a lot more than I used to, and I started practicing yoga. And now I practice for an hour every single day. So and yoga is like the best medicine in my opinion. And now like, I'm not gonna say I'm super calm, like I got crazy energy, I get that, but much more grounded now, much more calm now. I don't really have those issues anymore because I'm breathing and I'm in my body and I practice. So it was like, Ryan Holiday has this great book, The Obstacle is the Way, right? Where the obstacle becomes, you're like, you keep trying to turn away from it and avoid it. And eventually you're like, I got to go in the direct. I got to go through it. I have to. There's no other way, right? Emerson, do the thing and you will have the power. So I turned into it and I started doing yoga and meditating and bioenergetics and all this stuff. And now it's like a skill for me that I help other people with now. So it's like, I always figure out like any challenge anyone's going through right now, like master it so you can help other people who are fucking going through it right now too. Like stop being so fucking selfish. Like deal with the challenges, open completely up to them, master that shit, conquer it. Not only will that help you significantly, but now you have something that you can sell to other people.
That's incredible, man. I love that. Okay, and then talk to me a little bit about the Jason that was 20 years old, looking for answers at that time. If you would see the Jason 10 years later on his 30th birthday, living here in this beautiful multi-million-dollar property by the water, helping thousands of people around the world, like what would that young Jason say to the Jason now? Like, would he believe it? Like, what would he be thinking if he knew that this is where you'd be?
He'd say no fucking way. He'd be like, no fucking way. You actually did it. That's what he would say. He'd be like, damn, dude, you actually did it, which is cool. And then the second thing he'd say, well, what's next?
Yeah. How about the 30-year-old? What would you say to the 20-year-old? like knowing what you know now to that 20-year-old who was stuck, like what would you tell yourself to get things moving quicker or faster? Or are you happy with how things panned out?
I have no regrets, man. But I would say, I would tell him, dude, there are zero limitations on what's possible except the bullshit people have fed you. So if you can turn all the bullshit people have fed you your entire life, just unplug it, turn it on mute, delete it, like think of it, it's on your desktop, drag it to the trash bin, empty trash can, boom, it's gone forever. Now there's no limits. So whatever the fuck you're gonna be doing when you're 50, let's say at a peak, just rope that shit in 20 years and see how can you get there in a third of the time. And I don't mean to sound vague about that. Like an example, a more concrete example would be charging more money for what you do, right? Like you think that I need to do X, like people think I need to do X, Y, and Z on my track record, and then I can charge what I want. And I'm telling you, just charge what you want now. Just get rid of the rules. It's an if-then rule people create in their brains, and they have rules for everything, right? If this person looks at me this way, then I respond angrily that way. If they look at me this way, then I feel like, so we have these rules set up for our lives, but one of the, like really evaluate the rules and see where the limitations are and just get rid of the fucking rule. People think they need X, Y, and Z in order to do the thing. I'm saying just do the thing right now. So charging more.
I know we were talking too about the limited beliefs people have with that.
Yes.
Sort of when I coach clients, or I'm sure you coach your clients as well, I remember you were telling me that, you spend 10, 15 minutes telling them about that they can do it. The other 45 just reassuring them that it'll be okay.
That's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It makes sense, yeah.
And it's just amazing. People have so many blocks about money and charging more and things like that. One of the things I try and have my students do, my mentees do, and I got this from Dan Pena, he says, smell the leather. And what he means by that is when he was younger and he wanted money, he would go to the local Rolls Royce dealership every weekend. He'd go in the first car, he'd go in there, and he'd go up to leather and he'd go, like he's racking a line of cocaine.
Yeah.
He's racking Rolls Royce is what he's doing, man. But he said it would just fill his senses with like, holy shit, like it becomes real.
It's possible, it's real.
Yeah. It's creating an anchor in NLP, right? But you need to surround yourself with this kind of, like, don't just look at pictures, like go to the events, go smell the leather.
Yeah, meet the people, touch the things.
Yeah, go to Vegas and go to Crystal's shopping mall, right? Which is this mall in between the Cosmo and the Aria. If you go through this mall, there's every big designer store you can imagine, nothing else there. Try and find a women's pair of shoes that cost less than $1,000 in the mall. You will not find it. How do I know? Because drunkenly, a few years ago, we tried to find shoes there for like a last minute, we got to go out tonight kind of thing. You cannot find a pair of heels in there for a woman that is less than a G, right? So put yourself in that environment so you can see, not, wow, these people charge a lot of money, but there's hundreds of people around this mall that are happily spending $1,800 on a pair of shoes. And don't bring that fucking bullshit mediocre conditioning into it where you see someone spending $1,800 on shoes and then the rat race of your parents and psychology or social or society telling you that's overexpensive, that's a waste of money. Yeah. That's not your voice, that's their bullshit. Get rid of that. Look at them spending money and go, there's a lot of money out there and some of it's mine.
Mm-hmm. Instead of I can't afford that, it's how can I afford that?
Yeah, it's evidence that people will spend a lot of money on something that's not that valuable. So if you're like, my shit's not that valuable, how could I charge more? Dude, they're spending way more money on shit that's not nearly as valuable as what you have. And you just need to get the reference experiences to see it, to smell it, to feel it. Like surround yourself with wealth in that way and understand the lesson is just that there's evidence that money is flowing 1,000,000 miles a minute all around us all the time from one hand to another. And you need to get your fucking hand in that game.
And once you overcame your unlimited beliefs about it, because I'm sure you had your unlimited beliefs,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
So once you overcame that, did you notice, like knowing what you know now, seeing the numbers you've done now, have you realized that a lot of it isn't even the tactical stuff? It's not the tactical shit. It was more, obviously the tactics are important, but a lot of it was just allowing yourself the permission to like, whoa, this is possible. Have you found that, being on this side of the fence?
Completely, yeah. And there were times where we're gonna put out an offer and we're gonna charge this much money for it. And I would wait 2 weeks to put it out because it would take 2 weeks to wrap my head around the fact that I'm gonna do this.
Right.
Like literally, like I would, and then you put it out and all of a sudden, you wake up the next morning and you just made 80 grand yesterday and you're like, fuck did I wait 2 weeks for this shit for? And the more that I would do that, the more I realized like money and price, like dude, price is elastic. People are not listening. That means you can charge, you can move things around. You can charge a lot more for your services or your products than you currently are. And And people do. It's like the old negotiating thing where you say the price and the person's like, all right, deal. And you're like, fuck, I could have asked for more.
Right.
So yeah, like, I don't know where, like if someone's listening right now or where they're at or what they're selling, I can almost guarantee they'll make more money if they just start charging more right now. And not only does charging more make you more money, but you're gonna get a lot more compliant clients, which means they're gonna actually take action on what they buy.
Follow through.
And now they get a result, right? Like you get what you pay for. So there's a lot of value in charging more and being we can talk a lot about being the preeminent person in your marketplace. And there's a lot of competition at the bottom. I like to go where there's not competition, and that's at the top.
That's awesome, man. Well, thank you for bringing the wisdom that you've learned from the top here today. And last question before we play our game. For people listening out there, that people who might be, struggling, or maybe they're doing well, but they're not fulfilled. Maybe they're successful, but they really rather be doing something else. Or maybe they're stuck at home. Maybe they're broke. Maybe they're smoking a joint right now, listening to this interview saying, fuck, how can I change my life? Right? Maybe they're in their 40s thinking, man, it's too late to be an entrepreneur, man, woman, whatever. They want to start making their life work, and they're looking for answers. From what Jason has learned in his 30 years to the day, to the best of your knowledge, what would you tell that person looking for answers, looking to start making their life work in a really fulfilling way?
One brick. That's it. Just lay one brick down today towards whatever it is you're building. Just one brick. You don't need to build it today. You don't need just one fucking brick. Just lay it down, and then lay one more down tomorrow, and then one more down the next day, and then one more. And I'm just gonna do one brick each day. I promise you will build it a lot faster than you think. You will avoid the overwhelm. You'll be able to get started. Like, a lot of people don't take action because they're overwhelmed. They're afraid of rejection. They're afraid of people. And that's all valid. I get that. I think it's all bullshit, but I get that those are real things that are stopping those people, real stories stopping those people. I teach every single one of my mentees Kaizen, which is Tony Robbins. People know about it. It's from Edward Kramer in Japan, right? The idea of constant and never-ending improvement. Like, I'm just going to make this tiny little increment. I'm going to get this much better today. And that's all I need to focus on. If I can just focus on a little bit better today, then I'm doing it again tomorrow, and the day after, the day after. And as long as I keep fucking getting a little bit better every day, I am guaranteed to be a huge success one day because I focus on just one little brick at a time.
Building momentum that way. I love it. So at the end of every interview, we play a game called First Things First. Super easy game. The way it works is I'm going to rifle off 10 words or phrases, and then you just tell me the first word or phrase that comes to mind in relation to it.
Okay.
Make sense? It should be interesting as a copywriter.
So you're going to say a word, and what the first thing?
First thing that comes to mind.
Sure.
Yeah. Word or phrase you can say.
Okay.
So I'm going to rifle off 10, and then you just tell me the first word or phrase, and I go to the next one.
I just wanted you to know, I swear like a sailor, so some weird shit might come out.
That's fine. The only rule, there's only one rule, you can't repeat yourself twice.
Okay.
That's the only rule. All right, you ready?
Sure.
All right. First word, freedom.
Fun.
Limited beliefs.
Bullshit.
Funny.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Money.
Good.
Your past.
Lessons.
Your future.
Fucking awesome.
Your students.
Cool.
Failures.
Important.
Success.
Okay.
And the last one, you ready? Fulfillment.
Family.
My man, Jason, that's a wrap. Thanks for being on the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to check out more of our social links as well as Jason's masterclass in the description below. Until next time, we'll see you guys, and thank you for being one of the passionate few.
If you guys enjoyed that video, be sure to hit that subscribe button right now, because every week we bring you the very best in personal development content, interviews, and insights to help inspire you to take your life and your dreams and make them a reality. And also, if you want to know how to book dream guests the same way I have, you can check the link below for my top 3 secrets. So if you have a podcast or a show or whatever it is and you want to collaborate with them, if you click that link below, I'll give you those top 3 secrets to help you get in touch with anybody. And also, don't forget that The Passionate Few is available on media platforms as well. So you can subscribe to the podcast. And until next time, thank you for being one of the passionate few.